ready to talk NFL draft evaluation with NFL Media's Daniel Jeremiah. DJ, before we get into this year's class and specifically the quarterbacks, let's look at last year's class of quarterbacks. Now that they've all had a rookie season under their belt, how did you have that group sorted out at draft time last year? Who did you like the best?
Well, I ended up with Teddy Bridgewater, number one for me, pretty much through the whole process, Paul. And then second behind him, though, I had Johnny Manziel. So if I'm going to try and pat myself on the back for Teddy Bridgewater, I have to turn around and probably smack myself for the Manziel one there. But ironically, Derek Carr, who I had as my fourth quarterback, I think you can make a case he had the best year of any of them.
Yeah. What lesson can you learn from having Johnny Manziel ranked so high?
Well, look, to me, I looked at his skill set, and I know, he played a lot of off-schedule football, and a lot of people, concerned about that. I thought I saw the arm strength and the accuracy and just needed to clean up some footwork stuff. I thought the on-field stuff could be cleaned up, and he can play. I still do believe that. But the most important factor when you're evaluating a quarterback is whether or not they understand the time commitment you have to put in to be successful. And from all reports that we've got out of Cleveland, that just hasn't been the case.
With that in mind, which one of these two rookie quarterbacks to be, Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, do you have ranked higher right now?
Right now, I've got Jameis Winston ranked higher, and I like him better on the field. I went to the Rose Bowl and watched him play in the same game, and I know Mariota in Oregon won big in that game, but I just watched Jameis Winston do a lot of NFL things. Saw him move around the pocket, saw him deliver strikes on corner routes, digs, a lot of NFL schemes and concepts, and I just liked him better. And Marcus Mariota, I think, could be a great quarterback, but I think it's going to take a little more time. Now, you kind of start digging on the background stuff on these guys. And so far, I know Jameis Winston has, all these instances that have popped up, but the homework that I've been doing, I've come away to find out the guy is really, really bright. He understands football. He just needs to grow up.
I think a lot of guys, Daniel, this is Brian Westbrook, a lot of guys have Jameis Winston, obviously, and Mariota going 1 and 2. But who's the third guy? Who's the guy that not a lot of people are putting a lot of, pressure on right now, but that could potentially move up in the draft?
There's a couple guys. It's not a great group, but, you got Brett Hundley at UCLA, who's had an up and down year, but he's got a strong arm. He can move around. He's interesting. We got Bryce Petty down here at the Senior Bowl where I am right now. He'll have an opportunity to see where he can be. And there's a quarterback out of Colorado State that I've just watched him last night, actually, in my hotel room, who's got kind of a long delivery, but he's down here at the Senior Bowl, and he's got a chance to help himself, so he could get in the mix.
Between those top two quarterbacks, Mariota and Winston, do you see either one of them with the ability, I don't know if ability is the right word, or either one of them likely or possibility to fall out of the top five?
You know what? I think they're both could potentially fall out of the top five because you've got different questions. You've got questions with Winston that people need to get comfortable with off the field. And then with Mariota, you've got a situation where people have to be comfortable, where he is fitting into a pro system, or there's a team that's going to be comfortable to kind of adapt to what he's already done at Oregon. And in that case, I don't think there's a chance he does fall out of the top five. But, yeah, for different reasons, I think we could see both go. I wouldn't be shocked if they went 1 and 2, and I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up sliding down a little bit.
Have you seen with the college game the way that it is with the read option, a lot of teams going hurry up? Have you seen it, quarterbacks coming out of college going into the NFL having a harder time transitioning, or has it been a little bit easier for guys to transition in that position going from college to the NFL?
I think it's pretty difficult. You have to have a place that can kind of cater around you. Colin Kaepernick had success pretty early on in his NFL career. We've started to see him struggle a little bit. Same with RG3. But they had their success when their teams were committed to doing a lot of friendly stuff they did in college. And then once those teams tried to graduate from that and say, okay, now that we've got a handle on that, now we're going to expand it and make you more of a traditional, pocket passer, they've struggled. And the two guys that we've seen really be successful, the young guys that have come out over the last few years, Andrew Luck in a pro system at Stanford, and you look at Russell Wilson pretty much operating a pro system at Wisconsin. A lot of play action stuff. A lot of the concepts were the same. So I think it's a very difficult transition for guys coming out of these college spread offenses.
Paul Burmeister and Brian Westbrook talking with NFL Media draft evaluator Daniel Jeremiah here on the Dan Patrick Show. You're there at the Senior Bowl. It's ready to really get started there today. I know you got to duck out here in a moment. Before we let you go, who is the number one ranked prospect at any position that we're going to see in Mobile this week?
Defensive tackle Danny Shelton plays no tackle for University of Washington. I was with the Ravens when we drafted Haloti Ngata. I was covering the West Coast, and this is the closest thing I've seen to Haloti since Haloti came out. He is strong, he is powerful, and I think you'll see in the one-on-ones down here, Paul, you'll see him throwing some big guys around.
Aaron Donald was that guy last year on the defensive line, had a huge week. Is he a better prospect than that?
Totally different animals. I mean, you look at Aaron Donald, who's going to get upfield. They could not block him. He was too quick down here. You're going to see Danny Shelton just more raw power. So depending on what kind of scheme and what you're looking for, if you want a space eater, Danny Shelton's going to be your guy. You want somebody to get after the quarterback, you're going to lean more towards Aaron Donald. But both great players.
Hey, 3 years ago at quarterback, I remember one team had Kellen Moore, Kirk Cousins, and Russell Wilson. Think back to 3 years ago. What were your thoughts of Wilson at this time?
Well, I loved Wilson on tape when I watched him, and everything about him. The only concern you had was his height. And I can remember coming down here to the Senior Bowl, and as I found out later, he was behind the stage. They actually had the training staff and friends and teammates at the Senior Bowl pulling on him and stretching him, hoping he could make him a little bit taller. And when he came in at 5'10" and change, man, it scared a lot of people. But the tape was good, Paul. He was great at the Senior Bowl. The interviews were fantastic. It truly was his height was the only reason he.
Has he changed the evaluators, the way they look at quarterbacks at 6 feet, or is it always going to be if you're not 6'3", it's an issue?
Well, I mean, you're always, taller's better if everything's equal, but I think Russell Wilson did. I mean, just look at Johnny Manziel last year. I mean, I think if Russell Wilson hadn't come out and had the success he had, I think the fact that Manziel checked in sub 6 feet, he would not have been a first-round pick. So I think it already has had an effect on the way people think.
Have your suits checked in there in Mobile yet?
No, man, my suits have not made it yet. So I had the emergency blazer, Paul. I'm 3 years into this media thing now. I've realized you got to travel with that emergency blazer, so I'll be rocking that bad boy today.
Where do you keep that? In your briefcase on the plane?
No, just in your carry-on. Yeah, just your carry-on.
Okay. I know you have weigh-ins to check out there. I'm going to see you down there tonight. We appreciate the time, DJ.
All right, thanks, guys. See you.
All right, that's Daniel Jeremiah at the Senior Bowl, draft evaluator for NFL Media.